Happy Michelle's Magical Monday. And it is, wow, the last Monday in November. It's hard to believe. And I don't know about you, but this entire year has gone by like that. And 2022, it's a master year. And we've been feeling it, and that means intensity. That means shifts. We have ended the eclipse cycle and the eclipse portal, at least until spring again. We are in that new moon to full moon energy. It'll be full on the 7th. So we've got a little bit of time here to like really be manifesting our dreams and to be doing a check-in and to be looking in our hearts for who we are, what we're doing, where we're going. And so that means, what are you completing by the end of 2022? What are you getting ready for the first quarter of 2023? Where do you want to be 1 year from now? And I always look at, where do you want to be 3 years from now? Because they say that if you want to really get into manifesting your future, your dream life, the things that you're trying to create, you should be looking at 3 years. 1 year, to a certain extent, we think we can get more done in 1 year than we can in 3. And like we like have a lot we think we can do in 1 year. When you look at 5 years, we're actually not going to go. They say that in manifesting, 3 years is the perfect place to really be looking at our future. So when you're doing your manifesting, what is your 3-year goal? What are you lining up? And I find that December is a big month of review for me. So I wanted to like give you my process a little bit. Not my whole process. I save that for my clients. And of course, if you want to do my entire process with me, I would love to have you do a session. We're doing the Living Magically. No sound. Let me see what we've got going on here. Marissa, I've got someone saying no sound. Do you hear me? Let me know if that's any better. So as we get into this, we are moving into, okay, great. Thank you. We have sound. For anybody else, I apologize. Maybe just check and see if your volume needs to go up. Anyway, so when I am doing the process, we can get much deeper by the Living Magically. If you're getting into the Living Magically coaching, we can go into a much deeper process. We can get some of this done in a very short amount of time. The whole point of that is collapsing time. But if you're just playing along at home, one of the things I like to do, and I use my cell phone for this, I go through the last year. I go through, and I actually go December to December. So I look at, where was I last December? And I go through each month, and it's interesting. A lot can happen in a year. A ton can happen in a year. So look at your month by month and do a review. What are you grateful for? What have you learned? What did you acquire in as far as skills and trades and new friends, new clients? What did you let go of? What did you release? What did you surrender to? And check and see if there's any, this is my favorite part, check and see if there's any moments where you actually made a quantum leap, where you literally know or remember, I was this person, and then over here in just a few days and a few changes of my life, I became something different. look at where you were before that time. Look at the feelings you were having. Look at how you had to surrender. Look at what you had to do. What action steps did you acquire as you were making these massive changes? So you do a little year in review and you see how far you've come. And sometimes I'll go back and I'll look at an overview from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 20 years ago. Depends on how old you are. I'm 50, so I've got a farther, I've got a bigger, longer amount of years. Some of you might have less. But look at where you've come. What were your big milestones and how did you overcome them? It's really powerful looking at how strong you are, what you've accomplished for yourself, and how that has affected who you are today. And then to quantum leap here, see if there is something you are ready to shift right now in that same way. We can do a little exercise on this right here, right now. I want you to think about one thing you want to quantum shift. The one thing that would truly miraculously shift your life. I do this all the time. I'm constantly upgrading, changing, and up-leveling my life. And I have to thank a couple of people for this. Of course, Viana, Jennifer Longmore, Elizabeth Purvis, Hallie. Hallie, you guys these have been some of the mentors that have, I've invested in myself. So of course I learned their tricks and their tools, and therefore I can bring them to you. So bring yourself into that place of where do you want to be, whether you want to pick 1 month from now by the end of the year. A lot of times I pick 90 days because a lot can change in 90 days and you could be a completely different person in 90 days. And then 1 year or 3 years. Any of those will do. So pick one and pick what it is you're shifting. Pick what it is you are ready to become aligned with, and think about that. What is the alignment process? What is the feeling of that? What is the expectation of that? And expectation is part of quantum jumping because you have to expect it. You have to believe it. If there's even an ounce of doubt that that isn't going to be true for you, it may lead to some disillusionment. It may lead you to be out of alignment with the jump. So if there's any resistance, I want you to let it go. I want you to imagine taking the resistance or the disbelief, and I want you to literally imagine dropping it, like take it out of your brain and drop it in the trash, kind of like you would if you were deleting a file in the computer. You're gonna go, oh, I'm deleting that doubt. I am taking that lack out. I am taking that disbelief that it's possible out. And then you're coming back to an alignment place. All right, the version of me that is having this, doing this, being this, and I know I'm using my hands a lot, but you're lining up your essence. Because in quantum theory, you have physical particles. That's physics. You have physical particles, and there's just like a way things have to move. That's how linear time works. That's how physical movement works. But when you're in quantum particles can move at the beyond the speed of light. Quantum particles can be star families away from you. It can be the ripple of the butterfly, and through time and space. So remember that when you're talking about quantum, it isn't time linear, it isn't space linear, it isn't logical linear. It is energy, and your energy has to be aligned. And so energy is going to be more than just your mindset. It's not just happy affirmations. And yes, I'm a huge fan of affirmations. I use them all the time. I use downloads, which is reprogramming. So downloads and affirmations all reprogram your brain. So use whatever tool you need to do to get into this physical, mental, and spiritual alignment, which means if there's doubt, recognize the doubt and pull it out. And that is the exact term I use in my own head. Recognize the doubt and pull it out. So you're running into the alignment. You're bringing yourself into, and spinal alignment is important as well. Bringing yourself into and spiritual body in a way that you can believe, you can conceive, you can expect exactly what you're commanding. You're in control of the shift and the change. And then you're going to breathe it up. You're going to imagine bringing it up through your body. So this is where you want your breath, your prana, your breath of life to be moving up your spinal column. It's a kundalini activation in that you're bringing it up through your full legs. You want it in your legs, not just through your tailbone. You want it in your legs. You want it in your spinal column. You want an activated root chakra where the energy comes up. It comes through your heart. Your heart creates coherence. It creates your entire field. Your field is then your vibration. So your field is going to be the size of your fingertip range all around your body, above you, below you, in front of you, behind you, to the right of you, to the left of you. Don't forget the behind you. If you're in the elements of the past, if you're in the elements of these attachments, obligations will hold you back. Regret's going to hold you back. Anger is going to hold you back. Doubt's going to hold you back. Lack is going to hold you back. You can't be in gratitude and lack and belief and at the same time. So you have to be in full alignment. You have to be in coherence. So coherence of love. And so this is where it gets a little tricky. As you're bringing that breath up, if there's any place you're sticking, if you're sticking in your solar plexus, if you're sticking in your neck, if you're sticking anywhere in your spinal column, you're going to need to go and redo it until you can feel the energy going through your body. And you're bringing it all the way into your brain. You're activating your pineal gland. You're activating your mind's eye. That's where your soul is going to be aligned. Your soul is going to have an essence in your heart, an essence in your root chakra, an essence in your mind's eye. And so as you're literally in your mind's eye, you want to visualize it. You want to see it because it already exists. The law of polarities reminds you that if you can tap into it, time and space doesn't exist. So there's a version of you that anything your soul truly desires, a soul level desire, not just a thought, a random thought, but a soul level desire. There's a version of you that is already in that place and that time. The way to have it is possible, or you wouldn't want it. There's a version of you that gets it too. So that's what's really interesting about quantum physics, is that when you tap into it, you're actually tapping into a version of you that has the manifestation true in your heart, in your mind, and in your root. It's actually that version of you that is telling the version of you right now, to exist, and that this is your want. Your want is actually something from the future that is possible. I know, a little trippy. So you're connecting visually. You're wanting to see it, you're wanting to smell it, you're wanting to taste it. What does it look like? What is it? What is the experience? What is the frequency? What is the vibration? And you're living as if. You are shifting the energy to an as if situation. You have already made the decision. You have made the frequency shift, and you are already there. So you're literally changing the trajectory of your life when you make that physical decision. It physically happens in your mind's eye, and then it gets sent out. And the field, the matrix, the quantum field, the quantum playing field, the field of love, moves things around. And that's how the law of attraction is going to start bringing things to you. But it is a complete physical choice. And the physical choice has to come from your heart. It has to come from your mind's eye. It has to be aligned. It has to be true for you. And if there is any doubt, reset. If there's any doubt, throw it out. That's what you have to remember. Like, this is already mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Whatever you have to do to anchor physically. And it's interesting because us spiritual people, we want to be in our mind's eye. We want to be in our brain. We want to be in our psychic zone. But it is a physical embodiment. It's a physical embodiment that it requires your entire alignment in your physical body to make a quantum shift. It takes believing in it. It takes physically feeling it. It takes shifting the belief. And there's a lot of different ways to shift beliefs, but the first part is just to anchor in the desire. If you have a soul level desire, remember that the way for it is already there, and you're just aligning to the version of you that already has it. And then you're allowing that version to create the frequency, the vibration, the field that's going to attract the synchronicities. It's going to allow the synchronicities, because part of our problem is we're stopping our own allowance so often. It's us. We're like, oh no, no, thank you. We ask for something from the universe, and then when it is delivered or the way comes in, we're like, oh, that's too hard. And there's some steps we have to take, and we don't want to take them. Or we go, oh, it's too good to be true. There's got to be a problem. So then we don't accept it because we don't think we're worthy, or we think it's too good to be true, or we're looking for a problem instead of just being like, oh, of course, I asked for it. The universe is delivering. I've created this, because this is the other thing. You're a powerful creator or creatrix. You are creating all the time. Your worry is creating, your fear is creating, your doubt is creating. So if you flip it over to quantum shifting, if you flip it over to creating, if you flip it over to manifesting, then you're in the alignment of, but of course. Then you're in the alignment of, I asked for this, and therefore I can have it. I chose this, and I'm creating this, and I'm living it. I'm living it on a 5D reality right now. And that's how you live the 5D reality. The other thing that's happening for people in the quantum shifting world is that sometimes we have to leave the frequency of the people around us. We cannot literally drown ourselves or suffocate ourselves for the frequency of the people we care about. So we have to go ahead and get to the penthouse. Thank you, Jennifer Longmore, for this analogy. But you have to be at the penthouse. You're welcome to share all of your knowledge. It's just that you're not going to go down the elevator to share it. You're going to be up there in your penthouse and to you. So it isn't that you're leaving anyone behind. You have an open door, you have a table, the table's set, you've got a flood of information that you'll share, or a flood of love that you'll share, but they have to be willing to come to you. We can't be dragging ourselves and all of our stuff down in our frequency to hold on to the people that we care about, that we want to bring with us. And that could be friends, clients, coworkers, business partners, kids. It's not that we don't love them, but we can't do the thing where we drown ourselves trying to save another person. It's really then leading by example instead of dragging someone kicking and screaming into the reality with you. So you have to be a little bit self-contained. I don't want to say selfish, but self-contained in your frequency. You can have empathy, but see, the problem with empathy is going to drown you. So when we think about empathy or sympathy, we're actually taking on the frequency of the other person. So I would rather you have, ding, 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 compassion. Compassion is coming from a higher place. I'm sorry that you're living that in that experience. I'm sending you light. I'm sending you healing. I'm sending you best wishes. I will hold your healing in my heart, but I will not hold your suffering in my heart anymore. So empathically, we think we have, as empaths, we think we have to feel what the other person is feeling to understand them. And the truth is, we don't anymore. That is not what we're being asked to do. We are not being asked to understand the pain of the world. We're here to transmute it. And when we transmute our own pain, our own doubt, our own beliefs, then we can hold the opportunity and belief that someone else can change from a place of compassion, from a place of love. So this is how you hold your frequency without empathy. You want to feel love and compassion instead. You're going to accept, you're going to forgive, you're going to hold love, but you're not going to drop down. And as you are offering your love, your services, your compassion for the other person, you get to see them and hold them in the place of hope. You're going to see them as their higher self. You're going to see their potential, and you're going to lead them. And this is where it gets tricky. You're going to hold the vibration for them. You're going to hold space for them in their highest space. And you're going to let go and accept that they may or may not be ready to get there. And that is not your job. Your job is not to force someone beyond their comfort zone or to beyond their choices, because we all have free will and agency. Your job, though, is to hold your own frequency. So when you're in the energy of the quantum shift, you are holding the desire here in your brain. So let's go back into it. You're bringing the energy up. You're remembering who you are. You're choosing who you're becoming. You're choosing the situation. You're feeling it in your heart. You're feeling the love, frequency, and vibration. And as you're exhaling, you're breathing out opportunity and expectation of this new frequency, and you're creating a coherent field. You're breathing it up into your mind's eye, and you're seeing it as if it is already done. Now, some of you are seers and some of you are feelers. You know, if you can visualize something as if it is going on right now in front of you, 3D movie screen, great. If you are more like feeling it and knowing what you're like, talking yourself through it, then that is also what I mean by seeing it. You are knowing it. And that's really the key, is the word knowing it. Whether you feel it, see it, taste it, experience it, you must know that this is you, it's yours, and it's already done. And then you're continuing to send it out into the energy of allowing whatever is needing to come forward as a magnifier. If you get divine inspiration, you need to act on it. If you are given a feeling of do this next or wait for this or whatever comes through, that's going to be your universal truth. So I know that's a lot. I felt like I had a lot to say today, but I went on a cruise last week, and so sorry we didn't have a Magic Monday, but it was really, really nice for me to get a little mini break and reset all of my batteries. I'm getting ready to go to Egypt, so we have one more Magical Monday before I leave, so we'll have one next week. And then we'll be taking a small break for Magic Mondays through the holiday season and coming back right for the beginning of the year. So I'm so grateful to all of you. I love you with all of my heart. And I hope that tonight's talk like really, really made a difference. Go ahead and close your eyes and let's do this together. I'm going to go a little long. If you have to go, I know usually I'm done at the half-hour mark, but just close your eyes and bring yourself into the center. Bring it to your heart and just breathe up. And as you're exhaling, bring the energy one more time. Exhale and from your heart and bring the energy all the way to your mind's eye. Imagine moving the energy into your mind's eye, and I want you, as you're exhaling, to think about, I am already there. This is already mine. I am already in the field. It's easy, it's safe, it's possible, and it's already mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. And send it out with the exhale, another exhale, show me. And then you're just continuing to breathe the energy up. Show me. Let me feel the waves of certainty coming through my body. Let me feel the waves of knowing coming through my body. I want you to feel it activated in your cells, activated in your DNA, activated in your nervous system, activated in your mind's eye. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show me. Yeah, that feels good. And just be in that field for 2 or 3 minutes. And if you do this a couple of times a day, in fact, you could rewatch this if you want to, just really come back into the coherent field of your heart, your mind, your thought, and your breath, all in one field of love and above. The emotion needs to be love. It needs to be above love. That's going to bring you bliss. That's going to bring you acceptance. And that's going to bring you quantum shifting. Okay. So if you want to, I have 2 slots left. I've really just 2 slots left for Living Magically, and they're going fast, and we're having amazing results for them. The women so far that have joined my Living Magically program are blowing it out of the water. But on an easier note, I also opened up the Living Magically option, Goddess Within Mystery School. We are doing the Rose Mystica as a 1-year program next year, and it's going to include basically what I used to call psychic summer school. It's going to have all of my tools for psychic development, working with your angels, your guides, your council of 12. And then we're going to move into working with your body and getting in love with your body and having a mystical experience of being best friends and a lover of your body. And then we're going to go into another part of the Rose Mystica, which is the healing aspect, the healer, heal thyself aspect, followed at the end with true initiation of the mystical arts, which I'm not going to really share because it wouldn't be a mystery school if I were sharing exactly what we were going to do with you here tonight. But if that is something you're interested in, please let me know. I have a little bit of time this week. If anybody wants to get on my books to talk to me about these programs, now is the time, because I, in the past, have not had time in January to schedule anything. Anything I've done in January has almost always been booked ahead in December. So if you think, oh, I'll sign up in January, you may not be able to. So if you are interested in these things, please get with me. Let's have a little conversation, and let's get you enrolled right now, because it is time. It is time for us to quantum leap, live a magical life, and we're doing this for ourselves, our future selves, and for the world that we're creating. I love you, I love you, I love you, and have yourself a beautiful, beautiful week. Mwah.